Welcome to M Pluto. My name is M. I'm going to be doing a general reading about the person who's on your mind and how they possibly feel about you. Okay. How does this person feel about you currently? You know what? Let's start with general. How does this person feel about you in general? The first cards that pop out is ego and reminiscing, which I find very interesting because obviously there's some sort of blockage between how this person perceives you and the actual reality of the situation. Spirit, give me a couple of cards. How does this person see or feel, I should say? Okay. Bottom of the deck, self-love. Okay. The three cards that came out is unappreciated, detachment, and reunion, which to me off the bat doesn't make much sense. I mean, how could you on one hand you know that you didn't appreciate somebody, and then on the other hand you're also detaching from them, but you also want a reunion with them. So this person seems to be a little bit up and down. These are the cards here. Unappreciated, which says I felt like you didn't care. Detachment, I had to let this go so I could clear my mind. Maybe the dynamic was a little too intense, or maybe they weren't ready for you. At the same time, we have reunion, which is we will always come out together to see each other. Very interesting. This off the bat just gives me someone who is a little bit unsure about their feelings in general. I don't think it has anything to really do with you. I think this is someone who, in hindsight, tends to be able to see things for what they truly are, but not while they're in a natural dynamic with someone or anything. They seem to possibly be someone who's a little bit temperamental. I don't want to go out and say for sure. There could be a little bit of a temperamental energy about them where they kind of lash out immediately and go with their first emotion. This could be someone who thinks that their first emotion or their first intense feeling that they feel is the right one, instead of actually going back and really reflecting on how they feel and actually looking at the situation for circle. The reason why I say this is because they initially said that they felt unappreciated by you, and then they sort of became very defensive and wanted to detach, but then they also want a reunion with you. And then the bottom of the deck is self love. So this person is also focusing on self love right now. And chaser, I don't want to chase anymore. I'm not necessarily sure if this person is chasing you or if they're talking about the reminiscing or the idea of you. I'm not too sure just yet. Okay. Spirit, let's go out and pull some oracle cards about this person. Spirit, can you tell me how this person feels about our currently? What is the emotions surrounding our current right now? How do they truly feel about you? How do they truly feel about you? I just want to say the first card that really stood out immediately was the Seven of Pentacles. I will say the Seven of Pentacles is possibly my least favorite card of the deck. My it's really funny. My actual least favorite card of the deck is the Seven of Cups. I hate that card. We have the Nine of Pentacles and the King of Swords. So this is someone who's obviously picking being cold over actual emotions. Okay. Spirit, how does this person feel about our court? Okay. Ace of Wands. Give me some more. Five of Swords. And the Ten of Swords. What's the bottom of the deck? The bottom of the deck is a Knight of Cups, which is a romantic offer or an emotional opening. This person idolizes you in a very romantic way. So again, there's this sort of back and forth between wanting to detach, wanting to say that they're the victim in the situation, but at the same time reminiscing about your bond. Um, how they feel about you. The first card that came out is the Ace of Wands, so they want a new beginning with you. Okay. The next card that popped out was the Five of Swords. This to me says that either could have a very defeatist mentality where they possibly don't really have a lot of confidence in themselves, which would go hand in hand with their feelings of detachment. The detachment is not necessarily because they don't feel anything about you, but it could easily be because they feel like they're up against a battle that they can't win for whatever reason that they have. That being said, the next card is the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is a very interesting card because it basically means I betrayed myself in a way and I've included others in it. Okay, that could be you. So right now, this person understands that when they say that I don't feel appreciated by you, what they mean is that they didn't appreciate you. When they say that there's attachment here, what they really mean is that it's a defense mechanism. They don't want to really look at how they acted in the dynamic because they want a reunion with you. The reunion says we will always come back to each other. So this person sort of has this idea that um, no matter how bad things get, there's a soul tie between you and them that will surpass any other type of relationship that you or this person could possibly go in the future. And then they sort of fall into the I don't want to say that this is a scapegoat because it's very true. This person could very well have to accept self love. But when I see this right here, my first thought is it's the last card in the lineup. My first thought is it's not taking accountability and sort of saying that the reason why they did what they did was because of their shadow selves. They want to remove themselves from their shadow actions, even though their shadow actions are who they are. There's no difference between them. They don't want to admit that their shadow selves led up to the Ten of Swords and that they possibly betrayed you and their connection. And instead of owning up to it, they want to say, well, I need to love myself. I need to focus on myself. I'm not trying to say that this person is a bad person. I have no idea. This person could be the best person in the entire world. What I am saying is that when it comes to love and when it comes to their idea or their relationship with you, there is a little bit of defensiveness, and it could be because you have higher expectations for them than they're used to. Okay. You know what? The bottom of the deck is Chaser for the I think this is the Message of Love Oracle deck. The bottom of the deck is Chaser. And it says, I don't want to chase anymore. I'm not too sure if they ever really chased. I'm not too sure. Um, Very interesting. Um, Spirit, can I actually get a couple of more? Usually I try to start with just three, but there's something about this person that makes me want to just kind of keep going. One more. Okay. So the new bottom of the deck is, sorry about the blare, is overwhelming or overwhelmed and forgiveness. Yeah. So this person is turning to spirituality. Um, I'm not too sure if this is about them possibly doing something to your bond or if they are just on a journey of getting more spiritually aligned. But the cards will reveal that to us eventually. But we do know that we are starting off with the Knight of Cups. This person does have romantic feelings for you. Okay. Spirit, what does this person admire about the court? What do they admire about the court? We have the Chariot. We have the Sun. Let's get one more. What does this person admire about the court? Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Swords. That doesn't necessarily mean that they associate you with the Knight of Swords, but because they have detached from you in a way, they could be feeling the Nine of Swords energy. What they admire about you is actually very interesting. We have the Chariot. So you seem to be like someone who is a go-getter. What they really admire about you is that you go after what you want. You have a level of intuition about you, or at least you don't second guess yourself. What you mean what you say, and you say what you mean, and there's a drive in you. When you set a goal out, you actually achieve it. This person really admires that about you because, I mean, they're probably, I think that they're in love with you and they're going back and forth and doing all this crap. Obviously they don't have the Chariot energy. They're not someone who can see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. They're not that. That's what they admire about you. Also, the next card is the Sun. You bring them happiness, you bring them joy, you make them feel invigorated. They could have been someone who was raised around a lot of people who weren't as, dare I say, as excuse me, they could have been around people who weren't as goal oriented as you, right? Or they could be around people who allow smaller things to hinder them or hinder their progress. Whenever you see the Sun, right? I mean, you see the inner child, right? So you bring out this inner child in them. But more than that, it's on a horse. And the white horses in tarot usually means assistance. And the child is carrying this very big banner, but they're carrying it very easily. So not only do you represent to this person, oh, inner childness, happiness, but you also represent that things that they perceive as obstacles aren't really as big as they actually are. You show this person that things are more easier to overcome instead of having more of a defeatist mentality. The reason why I say that is because we do have the Five of Swords here. The Five of Swords is very interesting. It means arguments. It means, being, harsh words. But it also means someone who feels that they can't win by playing fair. It means someone who feels like they have to cheat in a way to win, right? So that's what I mean when I say that you sort of represent someone who can carry on, big obstacles and hold them with integrity. Okay. The next card is going to be a little spicy. The next card is the devil. Okay, so this person has an attachment to you. There's something about you that makes them go back and forth. And I'm going to pick out some cards I think that responds to the devil, right, in the initial oracle cards. Okay. I'm going to pick out Reunion. I really want so valid to pick out another one, but I'm not going to. I know there's more to the story. But Reunion and Chaser. This person wants to constantly be by your side when they leave you, right? But they also recognize that the bond is a little compulsory. There could be something about you, and a lot. The devil can represent sex. The devil can represent hedonism, or attachment. We don't know. This person could be just addicted to the idea of you. We have no idea for sure. But part of the reason why they sort of fall into the compulsory energy. It's because they need to focus more on their self-love. Okay? Spirit, can you tell me? I'm not gonna lie. I'm one of those people. I'm a little toxic. I'm not. Let me rewind. I'm not someone who's a little toxic, but I don't mind the devil popping up a little bit here and there. Devil to me means that this person, you scratch that itch in that person that they can't get rid of. Do you want to stay at the devil? No. But the other side of the devil is lovers, right? It's not the same card. It's the two people, right? Back to back. It's the woman and it's the man. So the inverse of the devil is lovers. So that's why I'm not necessarily that much of a hater when it comes to the devil. It means that there's some type of attachment, which means that even though you go away, even though there's some level of detachment, there's still something that pulls this person back to you. Okay. Spirit, and also, what's up with the Nine of Swords, dude? This person literally thinks about you when they have nightmares. They have nightmares about the detachment. They have nightmares about, they say this, what do they say? The stress from this is draining me. Sometimes I feel like that can be expectations of actually having to meet somebody where they are, or having to actually meet someone and elevate yourself. The card underneath that is the Hanged Man. You force this person to have to rethink their perspectives on love. Because whatever is working, this quote unquote, I don't want to say little boy or little girl, but this defense mechanism that they use where they say, oh, you didn't appreciate me, or I'm going to detach from you and I did all the work. This victim mentality that they use, it's forcing them into a Hanged Man energy because this might be a little different than the rest. I don't think they can sleep well with it. Okay? So I'm going to put that to the side. Please forgive me. I'm going to exit just for a second. Just for a second. I need to clear my actual nostrils for a second. Okay, back to business. So this person has a very strong attachment to you. I'm not mad at it. I know some people want to say that it's bad, but no. Okay. Spirit, if this person could say what they want to say to you, what would they say? What would they say if they could say anything to you? Okay. What would they say if they could say anything to you? All right. What would they say if they could say anything to you? Okay. So bottom of the deck, Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups, emotional fulfillment, happiness. You make them feel overwhelmingly happy when it comes to love. Underneath that, Six of Cups, soulmate energy. Underneath that, they see you as the Empress. This is just the bottom of the deck. I don't usually do this, but I can't help but notice the Empress. You make them happy. They see you as their divine feminine or masculine. Take it out however you see it. And then the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, right? That's just the bottom of the deck. Let's actually look at the cards that came out. The cards that came out is the Two of Cups. The Emperor. We did see the Empress, right? So they see you as their opposite ideal. Ace of Swords, just clarity about that. This person sees you as their divine counterpart. They know that there's a mutual bond between the two of you. You bring out their more masculine traits. You make them happy. You're their wish fulfillment. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty part of it, right? Because the reason why they're not acting is because right now they're overthinking. They're in the Nine of Swords energy. And also they're in the Hangman energy. They're stuck. They're thinking. They're in pause. The universe has said you need to stop and you need to pause and you need to rethink your perspective. I also wanted to let you know that the Hangman energy never comes from nowhere. Hangman energy is very specific. Hangman comes from humiliation, scapegoat, unfaithfulness, lying. Nobody enters the Hangman energy voluntarily. You are forced into Hangman energy, okay? So this person was forced into Hangman energy because they were possibly overwhelmed with the relationship. I'm sorry about the blurring. There was gossip about the relationship. There was indecisiveness regarding you. Doesn't mean that there was a third party, just there was indecisiveness. There is an escape between you and their true love. And there was holding back. But the reason why they were forced to the Hangman energy is because ultimately, two things. You are irreplaceable. This says the way you love can never be matched. And commitment. I want you to be a part of my future. So basically what ended up happening is Spirit recognized that this was a relationship that this person was going to sabotage. They understood the Two of Pentacles energy. They understood that there was the Emperor, the Nine of Cups, and the Empress. And they forced them into Hangman energy because they wanted to give them an opportunity to actually correct their wrong. Now I'm going to ask Spirit, and we're going to be honest here. Because sometimes, even though everything is 2 + 2 is 4, we don't live in that reality. Sometimes we live in the reality of sometimes 2 + 2 is 5. So I'm going to ask Spirit, what is the end goal between these two people? I'm not a big fan on the signs. Just because if you get if you get the Lovers, it's always going to be Gemini energy. If you get the Hierophant, it's always going to be Taurus energy. These are just cards that you naturally want to see when it comes to relationships. So it's like, it's not always going to really be a Gemini. It's not always really going to be a Taurus. And then the reason why I say this is because I'm a hater. Scorpio represents death. I mean, and judgment. Those are cards that you kind of want to see a little bit, but not really. Okay, Spirit, what is the actual outcome between these two people? I want to get 3 cards. What's the actual? I just want to say I'm starting off with the 8 of Pentacles. Doesn't mean anything, I'm just letting you know. What's the outcome? Knight of Swords. What's the outcome between these two people? Page of Wands, a message. A quick message. Moon. I want one more because that's not specific enough. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the 8 of Swords. They're not going to be moving. We have the Knight of Swords, which is mental fixation, a lot of mental exhaustion, right? We have the Page of Swords, which means wanting to message. We have the Moon, which is basically not understanding their feelings. sometimes the moon means something different, but here in the situation, the moon means I don't understand how I feel enough to be able to message you about how I feel about you. I'm not too sure. Even though there are other cards that support the opposite. And then we have the Two of Pentacles, which is someone who's juggling. I'm not going to say that it's a third party situation. It could easily be something else. It could be their work, their life, their family expectations. I don't know. But what really solidifies this is the Eight of Swords. They're not going to be messaging you anytime soon. Underneath that, we have the Hermit, which is going in solitude. What I will say is that this person does see you as the Queen of Cups. They see you as someone who's extremely nurturing. They think that you're very intuitive. They think that you are psychic. They think that you are emotionally open. That does not mean that they're going to be coming forth with you. My advice to you is, I'm going to bring these cards back up to you. This person feels overwhelmed for a reason. They're not ready. You could be the one who cares. Doesn't mean anything. When there's no action, doesn't mean anything, baby. Irreplaceable. The way you love can never be matched. Yeah, obviously, you're the Queen of Swords. Duh. Holding back. I should have expressed myself better. I mean, you could express yourself right now. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable now, but you have too much pride. Escape. They want to run away from the connection because it's too real. Oh my God, that's the first time I've ever heard that before. They're indecisive about a Queen of Cups. Interesting. Perhaps a King of Cups. They're worried about gossip. They're worried about what people will say. Why? Because they probably have talked and said some things about you. Maybe they were like, well, I'm better off without her. I don't know. But ultimately, what's at the bottom of the cup? The Ten of Cups, the Nine of Cups, and commitment. And guess what? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's the beauty of life. That's the treasure of life. That's the nuance of life. That's why we're here to be people. That's why we're humans. It's because in this life, in this world, 2 plus 2 is sometimes 5. Sometimes it's not 4. Okay? This person more than likely is always going to be playing tic-tac-toe with you, even though you play chess. This person is going to recognize that this is a bond that is mutual. This is a bond that makes them happy. This is a bond where they're, deeply attached to you. Probably think you're hot as fuck, let's be honest. But this isn't someone who is ready to meet you where you are. This isn't someone who knows how to do that. You know, I think sometimes we get into the mode where we're like, oh, if I just meet this person and if we're right for each other, it'll make sense. No. Sometimes people don't want to be with the person that they're right for. God knows only why. What I am going to do is I'm going to leave you with a Crystal Oracle card. It's one of my favorite cards, and it's about healing. And I'm going to do a very quick shuffle. And then I want you to take this advice moving forward, because I don't want you to be upset about this. Because if somebody was right for you, they would have ran right back to you. I'm not seeing a third party here also. What does this court need to know? There's too many cards there. You know what? There's 3. We'll take it. We'll take it. I let go of past heartbreaks so that I may love wholeheartedly again. I let go of past heartbreaks so I may love wholeheartedly again. I am developing and strengthening my psychic gifts. You are the Queen of Cups. Ooh, light. And I deserve to feel happy about everything I have accomplished. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You taught somebody that they don't know how to love. That's something that you've accomplished. Anyway, the channel is called M Pluto. You can call me M. If this reading resurrected or not resonated, if this reading resonated with you, let it apply. If it didn't, let it fly. Other than that, thank you so much for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.